Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, it seems like Ukraine did not receive an invitation to join NATO, and it did not receive any deadlines or any dates like, hey, you're going to start the process tomorrow, and you're going to have a deadline until, let's say, 2027 or something. And that really makes sense, which is something strange coming from NATO countries. I personally expected these guys, like 50%, to come with something bombastic and 50% with something like this, which sounds logical and normal, which is, if we invite you to join and we set deadlines, then what's gonna happen? We're gonna be in direct, real confrontation with Russia. Right now, as we are weasels, we like to be able to hit them through you, and you do the dirty job, and we give you everything you need. But he can't hit us, he can hit you. And you're gonna hit them for us. So let's keep it this way. Don't give them, the Russians, any reason, which I think, in my assessment, in real world, the Russians had 3,000 reasons to consider these guys participants in the conflict and do something about it. But they didn't. Well, the reasons are various, and we can discuss them. I don't know, maybe they didn't want to expand, maybe they didn't want to take on all of them together, maybe they were scared, maybe they didn't want to go that far. They said, okay, let's be the adults in the room. All like that. Some of the reasons could be the ones that I just mentioned. So we have here an article coming from Russia Today, and it's going to give us some details on the message coming from NATO towards Ukraine. Ukraine is not happy whatsoever with this outcome, because they thought, some of them, or at least they played the game, they played, it was a stage. Staged everything. We're going to be upset right now. I don't think they expected any invitation nevertheless, because they're not idiots. They understand that if they get an invitation, the Russians could also consider, okay, so that's a process here, you're in the process, how about this? But still, in the back of my little brain, I have this scenario. Maybe these guys are really on the same team. I'm waiting for the other shoe to fall, because one is already down for a long time for me. So I'm very keen, or paying a lot of attention into seeing when these guys are playing ball. They've been playing ball since the beginning of this special military operation, war, invasion, whatever you want to call it. They had the rules. You don't hit here, we're not going to send them this, we're not going to do this, but now they're going to send, the French will send some missiles that can reach about 500 kilometers that could possibly hit Moscow from Ukraine. So let's see what these guys are saying about NATO. So Russia Today, July 11th, 2023. NATO to keep Ukraine at arm's length. Kiev will be permitted to join the US-led bloc when allies agree and conditions are met. That's all. Very vague. NATO has reaffirmed its readiness to grant Ukraine membership at some point in the future. A joint statement released during the annual summit of the US-led bloc said Kiev would be invited to join only, and I'm quoting, when allies agree and conditions are met, but it will be allowed to bypass the so-called membership action plan that is usually required for candidate members. That means unfair to the countries that had to go through that. I read a headline from another article, an American media outlet article, and it quoted Stoltenberg, the weasel that manages NATO, manages a spokesperson. That's what he does, and just makes like a secretary, makes the connections between this, makes a call. Yes, you talk. I'm here with you. Take a picture. That's what he is. And he said that Ukraine will not going to discuss further the membership or anything like that until the war ends, because he said it's useless. And again, seemed to be logical again. Okay, saying it's useless to talk about Ukraine's admission when they're at war with Russia. We can't do that. Oh, really? But what was all this talk for a year and a half? Now let's move on here. And I'm quoting, "We reaffirm the commitment we made at the 2008 summit in Bucharest that Ukraine will become a member of NATO, and today we recognize that Ukraine's path to full Euro-Atlantic integration has moved beyond the need of the membership action plan," end quote, the statement said. Yeah, like what? What did they do? What exactly did they do they moved beyond this? What exactly did they do? They're just over there cannon fodder, fighting the Russians, that's all. Ukraine has become increasingly interoperable and politically integrated with the US-led bloc, it stated. It also outlined the need for additional democratic and security sector reforms in the country. And I'm quoting again, "The alliance will support Ukraine in making these reforms on its path towards future membership. We will be in a position to extend an invitation to Ukraine to join the alliance when allies agree and conditions are met," the statement concluded. Well, remember what happened with Finland and Sweden's admission? What did Erdogan and the Hungarians today? The Hungarian says, no restrictions, let them come in. The Turks said yesterday, no restriction, let them come in. In 24 hours, the whole, big bold thing collapsed. I don't know exactly what they were offered. And I don't know if this was a game. It was just a stage for us to say, hey, those guys are fighting, or well, it was just, actually this is reality right here. They're all in the same boat. Remember, a few days ago, the Turks allowed those, according to the Russians, Nazi commanders from Azov battalion to be repatriated under the contract or the agreement that they will stay in Istanbul for the entire duration of the war in Ukraine. So the Turks violated that agreement. What's going on there? And Erdogan supposedly will meet Putin in August. Putin will visit Istanbul. All right, we'll see. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg further elaborated on the matter at a press conference, stating that the bloc must first ensure that Ukraine achieves a victory in its ongoing conflict with Russia. Should Kiev not succeed, its NATO membership will be out of the question, he warned. My translation is this: if we, NATO, are not kneeling Russia and Russia kneels us in Ukraine, then we're going to discuss with Russia the outcome and we'll be friends again. And if Russia falls for that, then they are really, really infantile. Well, they already failed for Minsk 1, Minsk 2 and others with the thing with Erdogan. And if they come back, no, you've been cheated too many times. One time is more than enough. It's one, how is that? One too much. So, the pledge falls short of calls by top Ukrainian officials who have repeatedly urged the US-led alliance to accept the country right away, or at least produce an official invitation for it at the summit. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky made an apparent last-ditch attempt to influence the bloc's joint statement hours before it was released, taking to the social media to criticize NATO and demand respect for Ukraine for the alliance. Well, the thing is this. See, these guys rolled the Western countries, these are Western countries, rolled the red carpet for Zelensky and gave him so much importance. Why? It was an example for the smaller countries to look at and say, okay, this guy is their boy. We got to give him respect. Sometimes people, or most of the time, we, create a big head due to that, and we really think that we value as much as these guys tell us we value. And then here they actually tell Zelensky, back up over there, because that's how, remember, before this, that's how they were treated, like something over there. All of a sudden, this guy became, I don't know, Napoleon Bonaparte, the greatest general, the marshal of the planet or something. They know who this guy is. It's a clown who's doing whatever he's told, playing an act like, okay, well, that's good. You played well. Idiots are watching. And they're like, yes, the Ukrainian Zelensky is with us. Yes, we could not give a better Ukrainian over there to lead our country, that Ukrainian. Anyway. So here it is, my friends, here it is. I'm surprised that they didn't come with some bombastic statements. But hey, it's not over. The semi-conscious leader of the free world, so-called, will meet this little weasel, which is Zelensky, and we're gonna supposedly discuss important matters. One that is semi-conscious and the other one who has no authority. Authority comes from it's like the blind leads the group or something. The same here as Biden has authority over Ukraine through this guy who is, in my assessment, depends on these guys. It's like, really? And this guy barely knows where he's at. What's his name? Biden. But he is telling him, Zelensky, what to do, and Zelensky is waiting to this guy to tell him what to do because he can't do shit alone. Because without this guy, he's gonna be just, hey, Russia, can we talk? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.